A couple years ago, I ran 10 marathons in 10 days for charity, and right after recovering for a couple weeks after that whole event, I went straight into marathon training because I wanted a sub 3 hour marathon. And spoiler alert, I ran it into 58:45. I just want to talk about something specifically I learned during this training block that is valuable to you as a runner or someone trying to get into running or someone who potentially gets injured a lot. And I'll just get into it. I don't want to explain how I do this, but calf raises are an exercise that's changed my running for the better. I think they're slept on. Unfortunately, people don't do them. In general, in the gym, people skip leg day. It's kind of a running joke, but there's some validity to it. And when it comes to running, you absolutely need strength training for the lower body. Like that, you're using that the most when you're running. And so I want to talk about how I've implemented these and different ways to go about these because I think it's a lot simpler than people think it is. And you could do it a simple exercise within 2 minutes. So let's talk about this. I was working with this. I was running with this guy, a running coach. Well, he's not even a running coach. I would just call him coach, and he would say he'd coach me through the marathon. And we would run pretty much every Saturday together. We would lift most of the time 3 days a week together. And he's won the St. George Marathon a couple times. Always been in the, or not always, but he's been in the top 5 and top 10 finishers in the St. George Marathon many times. So he knows what he's talking about. I think it's a 2:59 or 2:16:59 is his marathon PR. And so I learned a lot from him, but there's one thing he swore by, and he did this every single night. Every single night, he would do 500 body weight calf raises. And I thought that was a lot, but he told me he worked up to it. And so what I started doing is every single night doing 100 calf raises, even if I broke it into sets of like 50. And then I also worked my way up to 200, which was just cool to see happen over a couple months. And so I haven't seen any scientific literature on this exact strategy, but I want to talk about why I think this is helpful and why it works and kind of why my coach was saying he did it and why he liked it. So obviously you're using your calves a ton. You're using your lower body a ton when you're running. The thing with these body weight calf raises is when you're not putting a lot of weight on it and your calves are used to carrying around your body weight anyway, so you're at a much lower risk of injury, in my opinion. And the part of doing hundreds of reps every night is that your calves can take a lot because they carry you around all day. And so it's not like you do a chest day and then you're sore for like 4 days. And maybe initially when you do calf raises, you get sore. But as you carry on and do it, maybe even just a couple days a week, maybe you don't do it every other night, your body's just able to endure that and you recover from it quickly. And it doesn't impact your running too much. Because here's the thing I've struggled with when it comes to strength training is if I do like a leg day and then I want a speed session or I want to do some speed work, it's really hard to do like the gym and then do a speed session that afternoon or a couple days after the gym session. And so I have to plan on lift or running my speed work in the morning on like a Tuesday and then lifting legs on a Tuesday. But then I'm also not getting the most out of the leg workout because I'm exhausted from running. So it's kind of complicated. But the point with the calf raises is low risk of injury and super quick to do. Like if you just stand up against the wall, kind of put your hands up against the wall and then just do bodyweight calf raises, you can get that done in like 5 minutes. There's really, truly no excuse. You can do it before you go to bed. You can do it while you're, waiting in line for something even. You could probably do it in the shower. It's too easy. And when I started doing these, I just felt stronger in my legs. And then I didn't feel like I was skipping leg day as much, especially when doing all the speed work. And I like the gym, and so I like lifting heavy. But during the marathon training block, because I'm doing so much speed work in a week, it was very beneficial and helpful to just do a couple hundred reps of calf raises. Now, there is some weighted calf raises, and I have done these a decent amount. I kind of go back and forth between if I'm doing like a shorter race, like the marathon. I'm not trying to shit on anyone, but I do 100 milers, so marathon is shorter to me. My point is with those shorter distances compared to ultras, I do bodyweight calf raises and do a couple hundred reps every night or multiple times a week. And then when I'm doing like 50 milers, 100 milers, when I'm training for that, I do a lot of leg strength work in the gym with weights. So you kind of have to figure out what works for you. But if you're not doing anything for your lower body, or you're not doing any sort of calf raises, I think a very easy way to get started is to do body weight calf raises, and you just control it as best as you can. I look up a couple of videos of how to have good form with body weight calf raises, and I think you'll surprise yourself. And it's just a little, it's such a high impact thing for such a little amount of work. I think it's valuable and worth it. So if you like weighted calves, this is what I do. What I do is I get on the seated leg press machine, so I'm sitting like I'm in a chair, and then I extend my legs straight out into the little platform that you use to press, and I just do calf raises that way, opposed to like a deep squat. I like doing that for calf raises. Seated calf raises are okay, but I have a really hard time figuring them out in a way where I can really feel it. So I've decided to just stick with the leg press machine or bodyweight calf raises. So hopefully you get something out of this. I hope you can implement something like this and reduce your injuries or your risk of injuries, and just become stronger as a runner. And if you like running content, that's what this channel is about. I'm just trying to help people learn from my mistakes, and running quite literally saved my life. So I want to be able to help people enjoy it more too. So with that being said, I appreciate your time, and I hope I get to see you in another video sometime soon. Peace.